You don't think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star 3 trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Today on SportsGrid. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. George Kurtz, Craig Mish, talked a ton of fantasy baseball in our first hour. If you're just waking up, we got another hour to go here, so stick with us until 10 a.m. on the East Coast. Naturally, the NFL does a really good job of keeping us active, talking about their league, because it seems like every week something happens. In fact, if you go to the social media handle of the NFL, they give you an off-season tracker now, and it tells you how close we are to the next season. I think we're like 40% through the off-season, but we were blessed with a draft and then a trade, George, and a trade that certainly interests you a lot and will affect fantasy a lot too. George Pickens, once upon a time, the lead receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers, once upon a time as in like recently, goes to the Dallas Cowboys. So this search for their second guy, the Cooks and the Gallups and everybody else, Amari Cooper is like, it's gone. That's it. Okay. So now it's CeeDee Lamb on one side, George Pickens on the other side. We know who the Dallas Cowboys quarterback is. So dare I say, at least on paper, with only giving up a third, did Jerry Jones do a good job here of addressing something that a lot of people thought he would in the draft? Because it feels like Pickens is better than probably anybody they could have gotten in, let's say, the second or third round. Is that fair?
Oh, I think that's very fair. All right. You got him in the third round. You swapped the fifth and a sixth as well, but no real issues there. You got a player who, when he plays, is one of the better receivers in the game. And let's not forget, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he wasn't playing with a quarterback. All right, he never had any. Everybody knows I crushed Dak Prescott. All right, mainly because he doesn't win big games here, but he is a good quarterback. And now Pickens has got the best quarterback he's ever played with. He's never going to see double coverage anymore. Not with CeeDee Lamb across from him, right? So he'll be single coverage against the secondary cornerback. Theoretically, things should work out well for George Pickens. Now, his behavior has been an issue, right? He gets angry on the field for whatever reason. I do wonder as a Cowboy fan, man, if Mike Tomlin and Pittsburgh can't control you, I don't know what Brian Schottenheimer and Jerry Jones are going to do. We all know Jerry Jones runs a country club with the Cowboys. The head coach has no control over anything because even if Brian wanted to be a disciplinarian, the player just run to Papa Jerry, and Jerry, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. I'll talk to the coach. And Jerry runs things there. So I do worry about that. It's only a 1-year deal though, because that's when he'll be a free agent at the end of the year. The Cowboys have already said they're not going to renegotiate his contract, which means once again, theoretically, he has to be on his best behavior, play his best to get that big contract at the end of the year. So, like I said, this deal makes a ton of sense. The Cowboys did not have a second wide receiver. Their number 2 wide receiver before this deal was Jalen Tolbert or Jonathan Mingo and anybody else you wanted to throw in there. And it wasn't going to work out very well. So, yeah, I think this deal is very good for the Cowboys. Their win total was 7.5. I probably had my doubts coming in. Now, I think they can get there. I said, I don't think they're going to win the NFC East. I certainly don't think they're going to compete for a Super Bowl this year or anything like that. But I think they can now be that 8-9 win team. If things break right, maybe you get the double digits and at least compete for a wild card slot, Craig. So as a Cowboy fan, I like the deal. I might have some reservations, mainly about Pickens exploding and being a problem here. But on a 1-year deal, I think he has to be on his best behavior to get that money, to get that bag. So, yes, as a Cowboy fan, only giving up a 3rd-round pick, I do like this.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a ton of risk. It is weird that they gave up a pick similar for Mingo. Yes, I think that's probably more of the issue here. And dare I say, maybe, just maybe, the Cowboys are a little underrated going into a football season. You almost never say that. Maybe there's a chance of that. All right, so now let's get to the Steelers here, which is a very perplexing situation. Not the fact that they traded George Pickens, because he's not worth a win in the NFL. I mean, let's just be honest. If we're going for war for NFL players, I don't even think he's worth one. But they still don't have a quarterback. They really didn't do a ton in the offseason. It's like they're almost running it back, George, with very little. The Steelers never hit the rebuild button. Is that fair? They never really hit that full rebuild button. Do you think that the longer we go, if Rodgers does not sign, and there's some people who think that that's maybe a possibility that he's done, would the Steelers do that? Didn't they just get DK Metcalf? And by the way, DK Metcalf may be worth one win, maybe one, but eliminating Pickens from that, now it's down to a half. So hard to ever sell that franchise on that. And dare I say, maybe the Steelers win total be a little bit underrated going into the year, but I don't know. It's a strange offseason for them, to say the least, putting their eggs in this one basket.
With the Steelers, I mean, they play in what's likely the best division in football, right? Or certainly one of them. All right, you got Baltimore, you got Cincinnati. Theoretically, Cleveland could be better as well. They always seem to pull wins out of their backside somehow. Every year, I know, how does this team get to 9-10 wins? But Tomlin does it with really lesser talent here. That being said, Greg, right now, May 10th, your quarterback is Mason Rudolph. All right. There's no way you're going to be able to convince me that come week 1, Mason Rudolph's your starting quarterback. If it's not Aaron Rodgers, I am a firm believer that it'll be Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr.
That's good.
All right.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
that's a good call.
I'm not saying it's the right thing what they're doing here. I just think that once again, they're waiting on Rodgers. I don't agree with it. I probably wouldn't do this, but they're waiting on Rodgers because he doesn't cost you anything other than money, right? To come in there. And I guess he'd be as good as Cousins or Carr. So, but if Rodgers does what you say, he might, by the way, say, nah, screw it. I don't want to play there. We're not going anywhere. I'm only playing where the team I can win. Maybe Rodgers is waiting for an injury in training camp, which there very well could be. And he wants to go sign with that team, Minnesota or whatever it might be. I think they would go out and trade for Carr because Atlanta really has to move on from Carr.
But is Carr hurt?
Say if they want to keep Carr doesn't even want to play there. Right? This is what's
so he's
remember
not
the shoulder
hurt?
injury? That's not a shoulder injury.
Here?
There's a lot of weird stuff coming on with Carr in New Orleans. That it's strange. It's a story that no one's covering enough, in my opinion, about what's going on here. They drafted Tyler Shower as well, so I don't think he wants to be there either here. So I have to believe. I just think Pittsburgh is not going into week 1 with Mason Rudolph. It's either Rodgers, Cousins, or Carr, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the Carr. I thought he was hurt based on what the stuff coming out of New Orleans was, but I guess we'll follow that. Okay, so 2 players that once upon a time were like sleepers in fantasy football, no longer the case. Gabe Davis cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars. George, I can tell you right now, August comes, he'll be on a roster. He'll try to make a team. He won't, and that'll be the end. Where did he sign? Where did he sign? The Jets or Giants? Oh,
yeah, Brian Dable. Yeah, Brian Daboll.
Maybe he'll make the team, maybe not. Fifth wide receiver, sixth wide receiver. Nick Chubb also going to become a free agent. Extremely difficult to come back from the injury that he came back from. One of the best running backs of the NFL at one time may never be the same.
I hope things work out for Chubb. And they had a video. We also saw the video earlier this week of him lifting an incredible amount of weight, by the way. He'll get a shot with somebody, I have no doubt, but he's never going to be Nick Chubb again, which is a shame. He's had 2 devastating injuries now. It's hard to come back from that. But he'll get a shot with someone, maybe to be the backup. At one point, I thought it might be the Cowboys, by the way, because he seemed to be the perfect guy for the Cowboys, right? Jerry Jones, a former name guy who's not that guy anymore. But after they drafted 2 late-round running backs, I doubt that's happening. But I think he will hook on with somebody. Gabriel Davis looks like he's going to the Giants here. Brian Daboll, former coach, makes some sense there. But as you said, I don't know if he's going to make the team. My guess would be yes. I think he still has some talent there, but that hasn't worked out at all. It looks like he's a product of what Josh Allen was able to do with him in Buffalo. It didn't work out with him with Trevor Lawrence at all here. But another guy, he'll get a shot with somebody. I think it's going to be with Giants here. It looks like it's going to be with Giants. And we'll see from there, but hard to see him ever being fantasy relevant again.
Agreed. You know what next week is? My least favorite week of the NFL season. You know what next week is, right?
Schedule release.
That's a win. That's a loss. That's a win. How many shows on SportsGrid are we going to do that? How many?
Gotta fill time, baby. Gotta fill time.
That's a win. That's a loss. That's a win. That could be a win. They may split those 2. Come on. Really? Gosh, that is some of the worst content of all time. No offense to anybody who does that next week. We will not be doing that. Be right back.
You don't think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star 3 trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports today here on SportsGrid. Craig and George back with you here until 10 a.m. Eastern as we take a closer look at some of the weekend matchups, as you take a closer look at George's face and my face as well. That's beside the point. Let's get into it. On Saturday, we got the Cardinals and Nationals. Of course, we're leading off with this. Sam, our producer, still hoping those Nationals come on a little bit. I guess I'm a little disappointed. I thought the Nationals would be a little bit better, but they're still hanging around. I thought they'd be over 500. The Cardinals a little bit better than I thought too. That's going to hurt me. I got the under on them. Andre Palante against Trevor Williams, and then on Sunday, Miles Michaelis against Mackenzie Gore. Gore is having this fantastic season, a little shaky, I know, as far as health, I guess, is concerned, but he is going to start on Sunday. George, what do you make of these matchups?
Well, we got to be nice to the Nationals. I think you're already going to get your mic cut, maybe your video cut if you keep making fun of them here. I think with the Nats, I think the future is bright. It's just not now. All right. I love James Wood. I got him in so many leagues here. Dylan Cruz finally starting to hit, right? I think the future is brighter than it is now. Playing a rough division, Phillies and Mets are. When you talk about the salary cap and what's going to happen in a couple of years, this division may be the poster boy for it because you got the Mets, you got the Phillies, you got the Braves, and then you got the Nationals. The Nationals could spend money, they don't, but Miami sort of the other way around here. I think the St. Louis Cardinals, by the way, are playing a little bit better than we thought. The youngsters are starting to hit a little bit. Newtbaum, Burleson, not so much Gorman there, but I kind of like what I'm seeing from them. Scott, he's doing well there. Guy at the bottom of that lineup, pitching is still iffy for me here. Gore's been fantastic for the Nationals here, but I think there's some fantasy goodness coming this weekend out of this pair of games.
Now the Braves have a couple of potential aces on the mound this weekend. If AJ Smith-Shawver again does what he did on Monday, this is a matchup against the Pirates and Andrew Heaney. The Pirates got that manager fired bump yesterday, George. Will they get it this weekend? The Braves got Chris Sale on Sunday against Carmen Mlodzinski. So no Skeens this weekend against the Braves, but Skeens pretty outspoken, I thought. What was it, last night or yesterday, talking about the firing of Sheldon? I honestly was a little surprised that he's like, something had to happen. Someone had to be accountable. I was like, whoa, I didn't see that one coming.
I'm right there with you. Skeens is feeling his where he is. Knows what his future is, and he can pretty much say whatever he wants there. But I was surprised he said what he said as well here. That being said, still surprised that Pittsburgh, Atlanta. I mean, you can't lose to Pittsburgh, Atlanta. You're struggling here, or you get out to a slow start. This game you can't lose 3-0, and it wasn't Skeens pitching. This is a Skeens pitching. You lose 3-0, fine. What are you going to do here? But it wasn't Skeens, so a little surprised they came out flat last night. Or maybe Pittsburgh got the new coach bump, whatever you want to call it there. I think Atlanta will take care of business the next two, but I don't feel great about it. The Braves seem to play somewhat down to their competition, which is not what you want to hear here. I mentioned earlier in the show, Strider looks like he could be back next week if they don't want to send him on a rehab. If not, maybe 10 days after that. But you are getting Strider back soon. And we already talked about AJ Smith-Shawver earlier in the show. Fantastic start. Would have liked to have known would they have let him go for that no-hitter had he not given up that hit in the eighth. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, it seems like they may have, man. I don't know. It kind of felt like they may have. I don't know. Okay, so Yankees just dismantled the A's, but let's be honest. The A's are playing much better baseball this weekend. Tonight, in fact, we got Carlos Rodon going against JP Sears. Sears not bad, by the way. I saw him pitch against Miami last week. And then no announced starter for the Yankees on Sunday, George, against Luis Severino. So, still sort of a launching pad going on right now in Sacramento. You expect a lot of offense. What do you make of these matchups on the weekend?
Little surprised last night that the A's couldn't hit Warren, who's really been sort of a punching bag so far this year. So a little surprised the A's couldn't hit Warren. I think they will rebound somewhat. Against Rodon has been pretty good for the Yankees. They need him to be good here. So hard not to like the Yankees. Severino going up against his former team there. That should be fun as well here. The Yankees they set down Carrasco, right? Designated for assignment. He's back with AAA, which was a surprise only because they ain't got no fifth starter. I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe they call up one of their youngsters here who you'd be pushing for it, or they might go with Ryan Yarbrough. And by the way, if they're going with Ryan Yarbrough, you want to take some A's hitters to hit home runs tomorrow. Certainly be on the over in that game to put it nicely here. But we're all waiting to see what the other shoe is to drop after the Yankees sent down Carrasco, who they're going to start. The Yankees do have a lot of off days. Theoretically, they could go to a 4-man rotation, but generally they do not like to do that and push guys like Fried. They can't afford it. If Fried gets hurt, you can all start rooting for football season because it ain't happening to the Yankees this year.
Right.
So they got to make sure that Fried stays healthy.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. All right, Brewers Rays, Tobias Myers, who we just talked about, he's back, and he'll face Taj Bradley later today, and then no announcement for the Brewers on Sunday. It's not Woodruff, by the way. He's not coming back just yet. Drew Rasmussen starts for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Rasmussen was a 2-start week this week, right? I picked him up, didn't go well his first start. Got 3 runs in the first inning against Philadelphia, only got a couple of strikeouts. So he settled down. 3 runs in 5 innings didn't kill me. But it was a 2-start week. I didn't love the matchups here, so that's where you are with Rasmussen, who's a good, solid pitcher, but probably only a guy you lean to in 2-start weeks here. And like I said, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, not the greatest starts, but I wasn't passing up the 2-start week. Taj Bradley, been more 50-50. You don't know what you're going to get with him either. So it's going to be tough to start any of these guys on Tampa Bay. They don't hit, right? This is one of the weaker hitting teams in baseball, so it's tough to rely on getting 3-2 wins here and staying in the game long enough to get that W here. All right, probably like Milwaukee's guys a little bit better here. We didn't talk much about Myers when we did bring him up. I'm kind of interested in him. Once again, you're not starting him game in, game out, but he's a guy I kind of like.
All right, let's cap it off here with the matchup of the day. As I look down here, we got Jacob deGrom against Jack Flaherty. That's the best pitching matchup I see here on the board. Nathan Eovaldi against Reese Olson on Sunday.
Looks good with deGrom, right? He's not going deep into games. He's generally a 5+ guy. You might get 5 and a third. You might get 6 if you're really lucky. But last couple of starts, he's been good. He has lost a couple of wins here to the bullpen. I know because I got him in a couple of leagues. It's been frustrating, but he's pitched well. And I don't think that's going to go away. It's against Detroit. He may not get the win because, once again, Flaherty can pitch too and Texas can't hit. But, yeah, I like deGrom here. Tomorrow, Eovaldi's been more good than bad. I do prefer him. But this is going to be a low-scoring weekend in Texas.
Yeah, would agree. Rangers just struggling on offense in ways that we never could have anticipated going into the season. We'll continue our look at the matchups this weekend, including today and tomorrow's games in baseball. You're watching Fantasy Sports Today. Don't
You don't think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star 3 trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. Good matchups this weekend. We'll continue to preview some of them. And, of course, we got NBA games later today, playoff games, Stanley Cup hockey as well. I know George will be locked into the hockey. I'll be watching some NBA and some baseball later. Let's get into the maybe best matchup of the day in baseball, Phillies and Guardians. And George, the Saturday pitching matchups are Ranger Suarez of the Phillies against Tanner Bibby, and of course that's really good. Sunday, it's interesting. You have Zach Wheeler going against Luis Ortiz. George, you know what's funny is Zach Wheeler right now in baseball. Guys get passed over him for Cy Youngs. It feels like he's always here, and some guys go here and then down and then here and then Wheeler's still there. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always just going to be there. Like no one ever considers him the best, but he pretty much is. He's the most consistent. And if you're looking for a QS, a quality start on Sunday, amongst all the names that we're going to talk about, I think he's got the best shot always to do that.
It's strange that we don't give him as much love, right? Because everything you said is correct. He's always top three, all right? But there's always somebody who has the monster year. I think consistent is the right word there, right? He's always does what he does. And there's always someone who has that monster year that puts them ahead of him as far as Cy Young is concerned, right? Skeens or wherever it might be, But love me some Zach Wheeler, especially when you think he pitches in a bandbox in Philadelphia for half a starts each year. So, yeah, I'm a Wheeler guy. Either he'll pitch great tomorrow. You're obviously starting him here. Ortiz, I'd probably lay off tomorrow, if only because I don't think a win's going to be in the cards. I think today you have a better chance with Bibi against Suarez here, but even that's going to be tough. Cleveland, it's always hard because, if Suarez is pitching well, which he's more than capable of doing here, you're not going to get many runs. You're not going to get many runs anyway. And now you got a better pitcher, so that's my worry there. But so I think there's some nice, solid pitching matchups here, but I love Zach Wheeler.
All right, so the Reds have Brady Singer going up against an old name, Lance McCullers Jr. for the Houston Astros. Great to see him back. Andrew Abbott starts, and he'll start against Ronel Blanco. But really the story here is after all these years of McCullers being away, George, getting an opportunity to see him pitch once again.
I mean, congratulations, right? He'd been out to late 2022. I think the playoffs of 22, so it's been 2+ years. It's always good to see a guy like that go through what he had to go through, right? All the rehab, and now he's back, and hopefully he's the guy he used to be. At one time, he was a reliable fantasy starter. I'm not gonna tell you he was an ace, but he was a reliable fantasy pitcher for you, So we'll see if we can get that back again. He's another guy, Craig. Once again, you generally have 9 pitchers on your roster here and a whole bunch on reserve. A guy I wouldn't want on the back, just a little back burner there in case he does become that guy again. My only issue is this is not the Houston of old, right? There's no Bregman, there's no Tucker, so you don't have very little leeway here. So I don't know about this major upside with McCullers, but a guy I'm keeping an eye on. At the very least, he's on my scout team.
We also have a matchup between the Red Sox and Royals where we're going to get, fair to say, maybe I overstepped here on the best pitching matchup of the day. Here's another really good one. Garrett Crochet of the Red Sox, Cole Reagans of the Kansas City Royals. That's awesome. Lucas Giolito, Seth Lugo on Sunday. I'm not really sure what to make of the Red Sox at this point. I thought they'd be a little bit better than they are, but Crochet is as solid as it gets right now.
Absolutely. I mean, come on, you got battle of 2 youngsters here. It's going to be fun. All right, not a lot. What was the final score last night? 2-1. They played 18 innings, so you may not get much more. I think they went 11 innings, or 12. Yeah. You may not get much more than that today. All right, so I would expect, once again, would not expect a lot of offense here. I said it earlier in the show, said it several times, 16-2 now. The Royals are in the last 18 games playing so well, so it should be, once again, a fun outing. Tomorrow, though, should be all, I think the Royals will beat up on Giolito. Don't really have much faith in him at all here. Lugo, always a better star than we give him credit for. A nice, solid, in my mind, number 2 fantasy star.
Marlins and White Sox. This was the game that I was watching last night, of course, doing the broadcast for the Marlins. I'm back on doing their broadcast, actually the next 3 home series for them. So I'll be taking a closer look next weekend at the Rays and then the Cubs and then the Giants. So look, here's a situation with Miami. They're supposed to win these games this weekend, George. They were supposed to win last night. Meyer, that didn't happen. Edward Cabrera starts for Miami against Shane Smith. This is a toss-up for me. And then, I got to call it how it is here. I mean, my guy, Sandy Alcantara, arguably my favorite pitcher in baseball, if he's going to pitch 5 innings and then qualify for the ERA, which is like the highest in baseball, I cannot believe that that's where we're at. And he'll pitch against Sean Burke. So for Sandy's sake, I'm really hoping for like a 6-inning, 2 earned run start. But both Marlins pitchers are sort of up in the air for me here.
Agreed. And if Alcantara, if he doesn't pitch well tomorrow, Sunday, that is tomorrow, against the White Sox, a weak hitting offensive team, can't start him anymore. I started him this week because a 2-start week in my league, but I can't start if he doesn't pitch well tomorrow. And they need him to pitch well. If they want to move him by the deadline, they need to bring that value up.
We'll be right back with more fantasy sports today.
You don't think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star 3 trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. Fantasy Sports today here on Sports Grid. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. You know who else is Grey Albright from Razzball. He's back with us here for another round here on a Saturday. Grey, great to have you back along with George and I. Grey, sometimes what we do is we recap the week in fantasy with you, but I kind of feel like we got to recap the night in fantasy last night because it's very rare that we would start a show this morning and just look at some of the things that happened and say, that's the most important thing that we're talking about. And I'm going to start off with it. I mean, we've got several players now with 12 home runs in Major League Baseball. Grey, it's like almost mid-May, and usually some players have separated themselves here. Ohtani, is this the guy that's going to separate himself from everyone else? He had his 12th home run. It was the game winner. It was the biggest bat flip the guy has ever had. And he's just out of this universe right now. And, I mean, I don't know what there's left to say about this guy, Grey.
Yeah, no, I know. It was like, I think everyone coming into the season because of last year in the playoffs in the World Series, he hurt his shoulder. So everyone figured coming into this year, there would be a little bit of a slow ramp up. It wouldn't quite be the same as it was. And then it's just like, he's now on pace for 45 homers, 40 steals. He's hitting 304. Just another incredible year. Like, I think people just get so numb to how good Ohtani is that they don't realize that this is not normal. Not every year coming out and doing a 40-40 season is not a normal thing. Like that, last year seemed so special, and now he's just coming close to doing it again. It's just like, wow, like this. I don't know. I mean, it's like I hear so many people saying Aaron Judge is like the best hitter in baseball, but I don't know I don't know how you separate Aaron Judge from Shohei Ohtani. I think they're like 1A, 1B, and I don't know if I had to start a team, I don't know who I'm choosing. I'm probably going Ohtani because of maybe you're going to get pitching at some point, but they're both so good. And yeah, Ohtani last night, I mean, being in Los Angeles myself, it was really crazy. I mean, it was like, just when you think he's done everything he could do, that comeback against the Diamondbacks with Ginkel I mean, it was just like, oh my God, man, it's so crazy.
Yes, I told Craig earlier in the show, you just knew he was going to hit it. You just knew. Maybe not a home run, but you knew he was going to drive those runs in. I think when it comes to Ohtani and Judge, by the way, as the Yankee fan, Ohtani is the better hitter. Judge is the better player right now until Ohtani pitches, and that changes where it's Ohtani for everything. My opinion there. I'm going to stick with the Yankees here, Greg. Sam Yarnell, our producer, asked a question earlier in the show in my ear. What are the Yankees going to do, and how will this affect fantasy when Giancarlo Stanton returns? I know we can make jokes here, okay? They say he's going to return in late May. Let's just say for giggles he does. Then you got Stanton, Bellinger, Grisham, Rice, Dominguez. You have 5 guys for 3 spots. Someone's got to sit or someone's got to go bye-bye. What do you think the Yankees are going to do here? And what are you going to do with Stanton? Any chance you start him in any leagues?
Yeah, actually earlier this week there was the Met Gala, and Andre 3000 from Outkast was there with a piano on his back, and it reminded me of Giancarlo running. I don't know how good Giancarlo is in your lineup if you're the Yankees. I don't know. I mean, as a DH, sure you get some at bats. I guess he gives you something for like 3 at bats a game, and then like you're gonna have to pinch if he gets on base. You're gonna have to pinch run for him. I don't know, man. I don't know how much he's gonna do really if he's even healthy. His arm at least, because we know he's got so many other issues: the back, now the legs. I don't know. I just don't see that much happening with Giancarlo. So if you give him say 50% of playing time, that moves Ben Rice, I guess, into some sort of platoon. And that's assuming Ben Rice is still good in a month and a half, 2 months when Giancarlo comes back. Because we've seen this from Ben Rice before where he's played well for about a month and a half, and then he's just fallen off of a cliff like last year. So assuming Ben Rice is still hitting, so now we're up to like 2 assumptions. And then you have Goldschmidt, who's older, who's now I think 37 years old. So is he going to still be healthy? I don't know. It's like there's so many question marks in the Yankees when it comes to Giancarlo that, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he's going to come back at some point. I'm assuming he's going to take some at bats from somewhere. But like with so many question marks, I think he'll find a way to work into the lineup for maybe 30 to 50% of the time, and that'll be all they get. Maybe he gets 200 at bats this year. That even feels like a lot. Maybe 150. I don't know. I'm not really counting on Giancarlo anymore. And I love Giancarlo. I mean, when he was on Miami, I was like the biggest fan. I liked him too on the Yankees early on, but yeah, he's just so old now.
Yeah, it's true. Speaking of Miami, man, I'm going to get to do fantasy baseball with Gray on a Marlin on this show. All right, man. Augustin Ramirez, Gray. Augustin Ramirez. Like, I mean, you and I talk about, the Marlins a lot. He and I chat fantasy, but, what do I think about different players? I mean, yes, I was a little surprised they called him up when they did. Bigger surprise to see him getting off to this good start. And a catcher with some power in the big leagues that's a rookie. Like, this is like sort of a unicorn here. Now, he's not stealing. They said he was going to steal some bases. I don't see that happening. I don't at all. But even in games where he's not hitting home runs, this dude is hitting the ball over 100 miles an hour every single time out. I think Miami may have a good one here.
Yeah, no, I know. I think actually speaking of the Yankees previously and going into the Marlins, that was where, Ramirez came from, as you know, of course, but that's where Ramirez came from. And because they gave up Jazz to get him, I think they probably, I mean, you might even know more than me, but I'm assuming the Marlins saw a lot in him and a lot in his bat. That was why they were willing to get rid of Jazz. So, I like Ramirez a ton. I think there's really something there. When a guy comes up and he's hitting like an 18% strikeout rate as a rookie in his first 2 weeks of baseball, in the first 2 weeks of major leagues, that's incredible. As a catcher, and he's hitting the ball that hard, if he can get to say 20 homers and he steals, even if it's not like the steals we saw in the minors, and he did steal in the minors, but even if we see only like 7 to 10 steals with 20 homers and he hits 270, that's like a top 3 catcher basically as a rookie. That's
True.
like unheard of. It's so good. Yeah, he looks excellent.
Great. We'll go back to the Dodgers for a second here. Sasaki. What are we doing? Are we starting this guy anymore? I mean, he was supposed to be this. I mean, this ace coming over from Japan, maybe better than Yamamoto. Was going to be the best thing coming, and now another blown win last night, 8-3 lead, gives up the grand slam here, 8 runs. I mean, what are we doing with Sasaki? Is he startable?
Yeah, I think actually in shallower leagues, he probably isn't startable, unfortunately. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a mechanics thing or if he's just not used to it. Because, in Japan, they use a different baseball than they use here. So maybe he's just not used to the baseball and it's coming out of his hand weird. I don't know. But whatever the case is, he has absolutely no command. I mean, the fact that he's got a K walk rate of like 1, like it's almost even. Like his K per 9 is 6, his walk per 9 is 6. I mean, it's terrible. It's like you really like you want to look at like the number one thing to look at with starters is like how many strikeouts they get versus how many walks. And the fact that he's doing a 1-for-1 ratio on strikeouts and walks, like that's awful. That's really like unstartable in a lot of leagues, unfortunately.
Gray, great to catch up with you. Happy Mother's Day, of course. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, Grey Albright getting his Mother's Day fantasy lineups all set on Sunday morning. Appreciate Gray waking up with us each and every Saturday morning. We'll be back with more fantasy sports today after this.
You don't think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers could be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star 3 trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, time to play a little buy or sell in fantasy baseball. These are a set of true or false questions that George and I are going to rap about back and forth. So let's get going. All right, George, let's start off with a little buy or sell on PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong of the Chicago Cubs. What a season this guy is having. Are you kidding me? Pete Crow Armstrong and Kyle Tucker in that outfield, George? Does it get any better than that in all of Major League Baseball? Buy or sell? Pete Crow Armstrong will finish in the top 10 of NL MVP voting this year. The guy who's in the outfield with them is going to get that. Is he going to get it too?
Tucker. I mean, you go through the names here. Tucker, Soto, Lindor is going to get his. Alonso's playing so well for the Mets here. It won't be easy, but top 10, I mean, you only need a couple of votes and you're going to get top 10. You look at those, I mean, Otani, of course, is going. I mean, you can start naming names. Freeman, Betts, if he starts to play better here. Ketel Marte and everything that's going on. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy. He's playing so well. Speed shouldn't disappear if he struggles a little bit here. He's got a lot of hype going on. The Cubs are gonna have a lot of hype. They keep it up. And I mentioned earlier in the show, I think they will spend to go buy quarter infield help here with the need for help at first and third base. But I think they will be relevant all season long. I'm gonna buy this.
Well, I'm going to, thinking about George talking. He's trying to sell me. I feel like I walked into a dealership here. He's asking for the clear coat.
I did get a car this week.
What'd you get?
I upgraded my Pathfinder. I had a 22 Pathfinder. Now I have a 25 Pathfinder. Lease was up.
Good.
It's a solid car, Sam. So yes, I would start it in fantasy. I wouldn't call it a top end of the rotation, but yeah, very startable.
I'm considering a new car. I have to get one soon in the next 6 months. There's a lot of cars out there, George.
Gas mileage is always a tough one.
It is a consideration. Would you go hybrid? Would you go hybrid?
No, I'm not a hybrid guy.
Listen,
no, I'm not.
Sam,
I'm not plugging.
Are you like? We finally don't have to show our faces for the first time in an hour and 46 minutes. I'm gonna have some fun with the end of this show. Okay. Pete Crow Armstrong will not finish in the top 10 of MVP votes. I like this kid a lot. He's playing great, but look, Kyle Tucker, yes. PCA, no. Good season, potentially great season. Check back with me in July, August for this. For now, I'm going to say no, not inside the top 10, but we'll be in Atlanta for the All-Star game. That one I got. Okay, I was on the broadcast for the A's Marlins, George, Sacramento A's taking on the Marlins. I was really impressed with the A's. They can hit. Back end of the bullpen, I know the Mason Miller blew one against Miami, but they got some guys throwing left, right, the whole thing at you. The A's are a top 8 team in the American League. We know Detroit is in there. We know the Yankees are in there. We know there's probably a team above them in the West. Can we go through 8 teams? Are they in the top 8 team, George?
All right, Yankees. You want to put Boston?
That's a win. That's a loss.
Baltimore, Tampa. I would say no. Toronto, no. What about Detroit? Kansas City,
Cleveland.
Seattle. I don't know. I'm going to put Cleveland above them. Maybe at the end of the year they will. They always are. It'll be close. Which, by the way, is beautiful, right? Because we didn't expect this from they have the Athletics, no city designation, right? So this is beautiful for them. I do wonder if they trail up as the season rolls on here. I mean, I'm on their over win total, so I did have some faith. Not this much. The win total was 71.5. I thought they'd get to 75, 76. That's what it's 77.5. Sam's telling us now.
That's
so
impressive.
Everybody believes here. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to be positive here, but I wouldn't bet on it, by the way. I'll tell you that because I do wonder if they trail off here. But I'm a positive guy on today's show. I'm going to buy this.
Yeah, they could make deals at deadline. You know what's kind of funny also, George? Is it Severino? What would you say he's been for them? He's been okay, right? He hasn't been great, has he?
Not great. I would give maybe, is there a word that's better than okay but not good?
Yeah.
Above
So,
average.
but
Above
the
average.
point I'm trying to make here is that the A's are like getting all this credit for signing Rooker and Lawrence Butler and signing Severino, when really in reality it's like kind of the same team. It's just they're playing better, right? Like, I mean, honestly, Soderstrom's got a bunch of home runs. I'm just saying, it's like if the Pirates like extended Skeens and like signed one pitcher and they were playing better. Oh, that's why the Pirates are good, is because A's they did some things, yes, but they didn't do a ton. A's are a top 8 team. A's are a top 8 team, but I, like you, George, I'm a little concerned this window's opening a little too fast for them. And you know what? They have to count on Minnesota where they are, Baltimore staying where they are, like those teams that have been above them in the past. So I'm not so sure that that will happen. But for now, yes. Aaron Judge is not going to hit 400. But our buy or sell has got him at a very good number here, 340 on the season. You're going to buy or sell this?
I mean, we have to remember last year, right? Judge pretty much took all of April off and then went on one hell of a run. Yeah, I know he had Juan Soto. Okay, I get it here. And I have no idea why anybody pitches the Judge. All right, I'll let Bellinger beat me, Dominguez, Goldschmidt. I don't care who the Yankees put behind him. Stanton when he's back. I'll always let that guy beat me other than Judge here. I think that might be the thing this year. Maybe he doesn't hit 62, 65 home runs, whatever it might be, although he still might. He's well past his pace of last season. Maybe this year he'll get the Triple Crown. You know, I think he still will hit the most home runs in the American League. Going to drive in a ton of runs here. 340, that's still a hard number. Once again, I'm being positive. Let's keep being positive here. Sure, why not? But as you said, he's not hitting 400. That's not happening.
I'll say buy. I'll go green button. I'll say buy. I could see 360, 370. He's that good. And you're right. He's not going to see pitches that brings the on base up, brings the average up as well. Finally, National League West, we get 3 teams that win 90-plus games. Buy or sell?
Dodgers, yes, although, man, their injuries keep adding up. Arizona,
still winning 90.
San Diego, San Fran. They're going to play.
Arizona?
I'm going to say no. I guess I'll be negative here. I'll be negative. No, too many. 2 teams, yes. 3, no.
Yeah, same. Same for me. Dodgers, Padres. That's it. Arizona, 80-something. I'm still not in on the Giants yet. I don't know why.
Nobody wins 90 in the American League East. There you go.
Thank you, George. We'll be right back.
You don't think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Is Steve Kerr coming back? They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star 3 trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. We've almost come to the end of our little 2-hour extravaganza here on SportsGrid on Fantasy Sports today. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Ryan Presley did not enjoy his week. Ryan Presley, after the appearance he had on Wednesday night for the Cubs, is the only reliever in baseball to allow 8 earned runs in a game, not get an out, and take the loss since earned runs became official in both leagues since 1913. This is the kind of thing, George, that for fantasy owners, I think that you understand it and I understand it. If you have Ryan Presley, it's like my season's over. With it. It's like there's almost no coming back from 8 earned runs on your ERA for a relief pitcher. You know, just think about that. He's got to pitch 8 shutout just to get back to 9. You know, it's tough.
Sam just told us he had him in a points league, and that night was worth minus 24 points.
Wow.
I mean, I mentioned I was upset about the Gausman losing his home run. I'd have probably lost my mind if I had Presley anywhere. And I don't. By the way, I don't believe in Presley. I just think he's a softball pitcher who's going to have. I was going to say these kinds of outings. No one expects him to have these kind of outings, but he's going to have some blowups that I just didn't trust there. So I didn't really understand the trade that they wanted him so badly when they made it. But yeah, that's going to be really tough to come back from. And I was watching that game. It's like, oh, another hit. I have Ramos in a couple of leagues, so I was happy to see him. I think he got 2 at-bats and 2 hits in that inning. So I was very happy to see that.
You know, I think that, George, can you come back from that? You wouldn't cut that guy, right? No matter what, you have to get your scoreless innings to even it out. But I have done that before. I've had pitchers, no earned runs or a third, 7 runs. And then you're just like, all right, I'm done. But it's you can't do that in fantasy because if you hang on to the guy, it's going to even out. Now, not totally, but as I said, at least get him back to a 9 ERA.
Well, when you're looking at it, you need saves, right? There's probably nobody else out there in your league. We're going to go through this, so you're probably not releasing them. You may not start them. We play that little game here, but you can't release it. Once again, what's the old joke? If anybody's pitching in the 9th inning, we're going to claim them. All right, because we need saves. All of us need saves. We're always battling for that. So, no, you're probably not releasing him, but he's probably, at least in the immediate. He pitched all right yesterday, by the way. I think he struck one person out in an inning. So he's on his way, Craig. Just 8 more to get back to 9.
All right, as we get ready to get out of here, 10 a.m. Eastern, betting above the rim with Kevin, James Young, and Tom Vecchio. They're standing by. We have one more subject to cover from George and from me. It's called the Sports Grid 60.
All right. I am drafting in a dynasty football league with a lot of names that you'll know, and certainly a lot of names that Craig knows, as we used to work with all these guys. Like I said, this is an industry league. All right. And this draft has been a cluster F. I mean, you think your drafts are bad? It's been a bad draft. You want to know how bad it's been, Craig? In the
football?
first round. Yes.
What?
Yes, football. People
it's May
draft
10th.
early, Craig. It's a dynasty. At the dynasty league, they draft after the draft almost immediately.
Rookies, maybe.
No, this is an ongoing dynasty league about year 15 or so. But we decided to start anew this year because so many teams dropped out over the years. It was 32 teams. Now we're down to 24. That's not the problem. But in round 1, we had somebody ask what the rules are of a draft, which, by the way, is a major no-no. How do you not know what the rules are in a draft? We had another guy take the full clock it's a slow draft, take all 8 hours, which drives me insane. Another guy on the turn, and this, by the way, ticks me off in every league. When on the turn, he makes one pick and then waits 6 hours for the next pick. Why? This makes me mad when people do this in a draft. Another guy said, oh, I'm not going to make a pick right now because I want to see if I can get any trades to work. That didn't happen either, by the way. We're doing this draft now for 3 weeks. We're in round 9. It's driving me insane.
I'm going to end with the Colorado Rockies. Hate to do it, but just how the mighty have fallen, so to speak. The Rockies were always that team in fantasy where I did NL leagues and I did mixed leagues, and I was like, I'm going to leave this draft with somebody on Colorado. I mean, I don't care one way or the other. I'm taking Raimel Tapia. I'm going to take my shot. Man, this is the worst team I've ever seen. I mean, this is worse than the White Sox of last year. How did they even get to this spot? I feel bad for those fans in Denver. If you're watching in Colorado, I don't ever advocate staying away from games, but I understand if for the time being you got to take a pause. Thanks, George. Have a good week. Thanks to Sam, our producer. We got betting above the rim up next. We'll see you back here next weekend.